The consequence of NATO expansion, Russia began moving nuclear weapons to the Russian-Finnish border. Emoji on a plane, Ukrainians are primitives because they beg the world for weapons. Zero tolerance, representatives of the LGBTQ community do not serve in the Ukrainian Armed Forces. Detector Media analytical team closely monitors the spread of the most extreme fakes created by Kremlin propaganda. My name is Vadym Miskyi. In the next 10 minutes I will tell you the key points. Let's get started. After Finland joined NATO, Russia began moving its nuclear weapons to the Russian-Finnish border. This fake was spread on Facebook by Georgian users. The video, which has already been banned, shows the movement of the RS-24 Yars intercontinental ballistic missile system. The mobile nuclear systems were supposedly seen in the border town of Vyborg. The fake was noticed by experts from the Georgian fact-checking project Myth Detector. The video was also shared on Twitter, where several users were able to locate the vehicles using geolocation. Experts found that the video was shot in Kolchugino-Vladimir region near Moscow instead of Vyborg near the border with Finland. NATO has only become stronger, the Secretary General said.
Joining NATO is good for Finland, it is good for Nordic security, and it's good for NATO as a whole. Finland brings substantial and highly capable forces, expertise on national resilience, and years of experience working side by side with NATO allies. I'm deeply proud to welcome Finland as a full-fledged member of our alliance. And I look forward to also welcoming Sweden as soon as possible. At times like this, friends and allies are more important than ever. And Finland now has the strongest friends and allies in the world. President Putin wanted to slam NATO's door shut. Today, we show the world that he failed. That aggression and intimidation do not work.
The propagandists have admitted that the expansion of the alliance is a problem for Russia. Let me remind you that they have provoked it themselves by starting a war in the center of Europe.
Ну такой себе фетиш, они нас обложили со всех сторон, а мы стоим и говорим, да вы что, это всего лишь фетиш.
Нет. Это как раз вопрос в том, что, пользуясь вот этим фетишем, они обложили нас со всех сторон. То есть накачана Прибалтика войсками, накачана Польша.
Конечно.
Поэтому нам атаковать вот на этом направлении, в принципе, достаточно бессмысленно.
Finland is a formally neutral state that after Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine radically changed its status and became the 31st member of the alliance. From now on, the Russian Federation shares its entire western border with NATO, except for Ukraine and the puppet state of Belarus. Moreover, NATO controls the vast majority of the Baltic Sea coastline. Ukrainians are primitives because they beg the world for weapons. This provocative message was spread by pro-Kremlin Telegram channels after the visit of Ukrainian Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal to Canada. The occasion for propaganda manipulation is that the plane that Shmyhal arrived on has stickers depicting an airplane emoji and hands folded in a prayer. According to the Kremlin media, this is how Ukrainians are becoming closer to primitives. Supposedly, they lack words, so they express their thoughts with emojis. By spreading such messages, propagandists want to prove that no one in the world takes Ukraine seriously anymore. However, this doesn't work.
Canada has been helping Ukrainians defend themselves by sending military assistance, including tanks and armored vehicles, ammunition, weapons, and other equipment. Today, we're announcing we'll be sending even more weapons. Sourced from Colt Canada, we'll be sending 21,000 assault rifles, 38 machine guns, and over 2.4 million rounds of ammunition. This will help the armed forces of Ukraine continue to defend their freedom and fight for Ukraine's territorial integrity.
At the same time, Putin systematically repeats the narrative that the West is deliberately flooding Ukraine with weapons.
Нас просто водили за нос. Никто из наших так называемых партнеров и не собирался мирным средствами ничего решать, а просто накачивали оружием Украину и готовили ее к боевым действиям.
Since the beginning of the full-scale invasion, the total military assistance of the West has amounted to more than 44 billion euros. Financial aid amounted to 25 billion. Zelensky promised to hand over the western territories of Ukraine to Poland in exchange for weapons for the counteroffensive. This information was circulated by Kremlin propagandists. The authors of the messages refer to the article by the Polish online media of Niezależny Dziennik Polityczny. This is a lie. The Center for Countering Disinformation at the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine explains that Niezależny Dziennik Polityczny is a fake media outlet that publishes pro-Kremlin articles translated into Polish. They manipulated Zelensky's statement that, to quote, "In the future there will be no borders between Poland and Ukraine." However, Zelensky was only talking about friendship between two countries.
Вільна Польща постала і ніколи не впаде. Вільна Україна постала і ніколи не впаде. Та чужа влада, що хотіла контролювати наші народи і не розуміла, чого ми прагнемо, просто розсипалася. А ми стоїмо. Ми стоїмо разом, пліч-опліч, Україна і Польща, і Європа, і вільний світ. Стоїмо, і коли знов кинуто повномасштабні сили агресії проти нашої свободи, що ж, впаде і цей режим, що пішов війною проти нас. Він приніс могили Україні, щоб потім принести могили знов і Польщі, і усім нашим братам і сестрам вільної Європи. А ми боремось пліч-опліч.
According to Andrzej Duda, Poland's military assistance to Ukraine amounts to about 3 billion euros. He emphasized that Warsaw was aware that if Russian aggression were not stopped, it would pose a threat to Poland and Eastern Europe in the future. Ukrainian gay soldiers are fighting Russia for their rights. This was reported by The Economist. According to the newspaper, thousands of gay men serve in the Ukrainian Armed Forces, often wearing a rainbow badge next to the Ukrainian flag. At the same time, the Ukrainian segment of social media is spreading the idea that representatives of the LGBTQ community supposedly do not serve in the armed forces. Therefore, the bill on civil partnership for same-sex and different-sex couples is unnecessary. VoxCheck experts brought the case to our attention. They explained that in 2018, the association Ukrainian LGBT Military for Equal Rights was created in Ukraine. The founder of this organization is Viktor Pilipenko, a soldier of the 72nd Separate Mechanized Brigade, who was the first military veteran to come out. He also blamed the Kremlin propagandists who mock such ideas as tolerance.
Вони виставляють це для своєї внутрішньої публіки, для того, щоб посміятися.
Meanwhile, the White House emphasized that members of the LGBTQ community have the same rights as heterosexual people.
According to the Human Rights Campaign, more than 50% of transgender youth in the U.S., which is estimated to be more than 150,000 kids, live in states in which transgender youth have lost access to or at risk of losing access to gender-affirming care.
I would like to remind you that Putin is constantly making claims about LGBTQ people. He said that as long as he is president, parents number 1 and number 2 will not replace mom and dad. However, such gender-neutral vocabulary is used only in a few Western countries for internal paperwork.
Гендеров там десятками измеряют. Что, какие там трансформаторы, я даже не понимаю, о чем они говорят. Но это совсем не наша культура, это совсем другой код какой-то.
It seems that Russia has no other problems than the parents' numbers, but it's a good way to divert attention from the hundreds of thousands of people who have died in the war unleashed by the Kremlin. Victory will be ours. Have a nice day.